In this tutorial, we're going to draw a cylinder. Now, the cylinder is the first shape in 3 that we're going to draw that contains circles. So, if you notice in this particular view, our circle looks really squished, so it's quite long, it's quite narrow here. We call this an ellipse. So, what we need to consider is how the shape changes as we go. First of all, we're going to make sure we've got our cube ready to draw in, and we're just going to think about how the circle looks inside a square. So I've just drawn a square and a circle here. Now what we know about these shapes is they have the same height and the same width. So when we draw them, they actually fit inside each other really nicely. Now what do you notice about the circle? The circle actually touches the square in the middle of the line on the edge. So now we know that, we can convert that knowledge onto our top surface here. So I'm just going to mark out the midpoint on each line. So you're just checking that that dot is the same distance from that edge as that edge, okay? And if you've drawn a really good cube, what you'll notice is that dot is just above that dot's just above that dot, and they are pretty much horizontal to each other. So this is something that we might see later on as well. Now let's go back to our example. So when we look at our example, if we were to divide this circle into 4s using that line, see each end, the left and the right, are really, really tight curves, and then our top and the bottom are quite flat curves. So we're just going to think about that when we join up these dots. And because I'm left-handed, I actually turn my page doing the curve on the other side. So notice how my wrist actually bends like that. Now I'm going to turn my page over, draw on the other side. So these are my flatter curves. And then I'm going to draw my end curves. They come out quite far. Might not look right, but it is. And then this one as well. So that is an ellipse. What we're going to do now is draw exactly the same on the bottom. And if you've done those correctly, then your lines at the very edge should be a nice 6 o'clock angle. So if we look back at the example, our ellipse at the top and the bottom are the same size, and we join them with a nice vertical line. So I'm just going to continue. Now remember, we need to make this cube into a see-through cube. So I'm going to draw a new 2 o'clock line, new 10 o'clock line. So what that allows us to do is see that bottom surface. Now we've got a square on the bottom. We're going to mark our midpoints like this. And again, we're going to create those flatter curves on the top and bottom. Because I'm left-handed, I like to draw the other side, use the shape of my wrist to create that angle, and then I'm going to do the top and bottom curves. This might take a bit of adjusting, that's okay. And it's not bad, I might need some adjusting, but if I were to draw a 6 o'clock line now, it's pretty close to the edge on both circles. If you want to make the cylinder look more solid and less see-through, we're going to darken these lines. Now I'm just going to, feel like this one is perhaps a little bit wrong. Just going to draw that bottom one in darker. Our nice vertical ones in darker, and that top surface in darker. And there we have a cylinder.